Since the creation of Kwara State, revenue collection for the state had been carried out by the Board of Internal Revenue. However, as the times changed, there was a need for a restructuring of the system. This restructuring was initiated by the administration of Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, who had a vision to strategically develop the state through her internally generated revenue. To help actualize this vision, the government of Dr. Abdul Fattah Ahmed passed a law establishing the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service.
We saw the need to create this through the things we have seen in the country as not requiring us to continue to rely on the Federation allocation. And immediately we changed the internal generated revenue model. I'm happy that through a change process of our people, process and technology, we've been able to move our IGR from 500 million per month to a modest 1.7 billion per month.
As a nation, we've been reckless because we've had it so good in terms of earning money without sweating for it. And when it became very obvious that such free money will no longer flow the way it used to flow, all arms of government saw reason to take a second look at their sources of revenue. So that was the basic justification why the Kwara State government quickly had to look at their various sources of revenue and begin to do something about the one that they have all the powers to do something about.
The Revenue Service was officially commissioned with the following mandate. In the year 2016, the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service has not only lived up to its mandate, but it has surpassed it.
We started to put our energy, our blood, our life into this, make sure that it's going to survive. So in the last 1 year, it has been a remarkable achievement that we can pride ourselves in.
We're not there yet, but I think we made a significant leap from what happened in 2015 and what happened in 2016.
Nothing can more clearly attest to the success of the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service in 2016 better than the figures.
If we flash back and we look at the process, we will see a significant improvement with the reliance on technology and the integration of technology with people. The process of tax collection has significantly improved. If we look at the people, we know that the old set of people that were in the Board of Internal Revenue were civil servants, and we all know the mentality of civil servants in Nigeria, not only in Kwara State. And that mentality obviously cannot drive improvement in generation of revenue. So government therefore thought it wise to come up with new set of people that have some kind of private sector orientation to come and drive the new revenue service. So there is significant improvement in people, even in the culture and work ethics of the people. There is significant improvement in it, and then that translated obviously into improvement in the revenue generated itself.
During the era of BR, the average monthly collection was 600 million naira. With the coming up of the service, KW-IRS, the collection has averagely jumped to 1.2 billion naira.
That's been a remarkable achievement.
This phenomenal success is credited to the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service team, led by their 6 directors and their visionary executive chairman.
We had the plan of establishing a first-class organization. And for us to be able to do that, we designed a selection process.
what we were looking for was just basically people that are trainable.
First, we set up the standard, the kind of people we want, graduates, the good results. They were tested. So if you look at the first batch in particular, they had to write exams, CBT precisely. And after the exams, they were interviewed.
They were screened along their area of interest. At the end of the interview, it wasn't just one. The charts were, I think, 3 levels now. I remember 3 levels. After which you will end up chatting with the executive chairman of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service. And so with that process, we were able to select the very best hands.
That recruitment process is not enough. We know that this group of people that we are selecting had come with different backgrounds and experiences from their various schools. So there's a need for us to bring them together and share the vision and mission of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service with them, so that all of us as a team can actually focus on the same, direction. And that's brought about the process of training. We did not now let the training end at the entry level. We made it consistent monthly training. So every month we have what we call field feedback and training session every last Saturday of the month. So everybody comes together again, to share their experiences on the field in their various postings, for us to compare results and look at our performance, and then also use the opportunity to get some kind of reorientation and reminding ourselves of the vision, ensuring that we are still together, looking at the same purpose of coming together.
Kwara State Internal Revenue staff are the best in the state.
In the year 2016, the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service carried out massive advocacy across Kwara State. This helped sensitize and educate the people on tax and tax processes, and ultimately encouraged all to play their part by paying their taxes.
Yeah, one major problem that we had when we came on board is the issue of perception and mindset. First, there's a group of people who thought these people have come to take over our jobs, so they became like, we're not going to make it work. Then there are those who don't want to pay tax, and they have the perception that the tax authorities are here to tax us heavily. So we needed to do serious advocacy, and we commenced advocacy by first talking with the stakeholders. Beyond that, we had advocacy in forms of jingles. We went around with the Kwara Theatre group, singing, we were Soloja Kakiri, and people listened to us. Eventually, we were able to reach out to the people.
The Kwara State Internal Revenue Service did not only carry out advocacy among the taxable bracket of society, but also ensured that the young and upcoming generation of Kwarans were also educated and carried along, thereby ensuring that they grow up knowing the value and importance of paying taxes.
The tax culture, at least in our generation, is almost gone into extinction. And we felt, look, it's best to start catching them young.
So we went to some schools and we discovered students were working barefooted, some without pants. And you want to collect tax from their parents. So we needed to reach out to them. And then the chairman came up with this idea of kitting the school students. And the effect was so good. Their parents were happy. We gave them a pair of uniforms, school sandals, school bags. At the same time, it was an advocacy for us, because behind the back we saw the pay your part, pay your tax thing, and today they still wear it.
To help make this subject of tax fun and engaging for the young people, the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service established tax clubs in secondary schools across Kwara State. They went a step further by organizing the first ever tax club quiz competition in Kwara State. This was a huge success.
We're all aware of what you used to obtain before in secondary schools. You have press club, you have all sort of clubs, and we felt if we inaugurate the tax club, and we start tax education right from the secondary school. And you start rekindling this tax consciousness in the the students. Consequently, they can even get home, educate their parents by extension as well. That was the first thing about it. And then to make them, to put something in it that would drive them to study or inquire more about it, then we had to introduce the competition. And the competition, to borrow the words of Professor Abiola Soni, there's not been anything like that in this country.
Success, they say, has many friends, and as such, it is no wonder that the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service paid several courtesy calls and was visited by several stakeholders in the course of the year 2016.
There's no way any revenue service can do the job of mobilizing revenue without working with the stakeholders. And the stakeholders are diverse. You have the traditional rulers in their rights because they are the closest people to the people or to the community. You have the people who you have to work with at the legislative arm of government, at the executive arm of government, at the judiciary arm of government as another level of stakeholders, the commissioners, the PAMSECs, and all that. And then you also have the professional associations, professional bodies, the professional lawyers, the professional even hairdressers, and the rest like that. That you have to really let them know what you are trying to do if you want their membership to cooperate with you. So based on that, we intentionally engage the stakeholders, and we did that consistently, talking to them, having meetings with them, both within the service and even going to meet them at their various domains. And that took us to all the 16 local governments in Kwara State. One must commend the residents of Kwara State for the warm embrace that they gave to the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service initiative of His Excellency Dr. Fatai Ahmed. Majority of the stakeholders saw reasons with him for taking that initiative ahead of the recession that the country eventually found itself in. And it was demonstrated even in the way the various stakeholders came paying courtesy visits when we opened, joining us even at the official commissioning of the Revenue House, and the reception that we get at every point of visit in the various local governments and the various associations that we visited.
In fulfilling a major part of its mandate, the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service carried out several community impact projects throughout the year 2016. These projects, ranging from high to low cost projects, went a long way in changing and improving the lives of Kwarans, both in the rural and urban areas of the state.
Yeah, one major problem we had going around the system local government, talking with stakeholders, was always because what has the government done for us? So people complain, government has not done anything. They even take you around to, okay, come and see this place, come and see this place. And eventually we knew that if we had to reach to the heart of these people, we must be giving them something back.
One of the first encounter we had was with the butchers. I remember then Mr. Lani, who was director of MDA, and I had gone to Minister of Agri. And there we were, we ran into the ministry having issues with the butchers. And we quickly stepped in. And in stepping in, we were like, okay, if that is their problem, that they have refuse dumps, they have the dunks that has accumulated for over almost a year. And I remember right from there, we came straight to Ikwata Market to come and inspect the place. And then we came to Ikwata Market, saw it was a gory site. And immediately we started making contacts because he was in MBA. We called the GM of Kwepa and tried to get an idea of the cost implication. And I remember that particular day, coming back to the office, we told the chairman, and he said, you people should go ahead. We must intervene almost immediately. It was a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And by Friday, Saturday, we got approval, we made arrangements, got trucks to go there to go and evacuate. Lo and behold, it was something that became an eye-opener for us, that some of these things, if we can just take this responsibility among so many things that these people are asking for, it will help us a great deal. And that is one strategy that's really helped us.
The Community Impact Program was consciously designed by the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service as a way of getting the community's buy-in into the transformation of the revenue service. We know that the level of acceptance of even the government activities by the people was very low. We just finished an election and the people were full of hopes and expectations, and this transformation took place. And of course, the people will be suspicious of government. Oh, they want to raise taxes, and all that. So our research shows that we have to come up with something that will be more convincing to the people.
The Kwara State Internal Revenue Service has also helped the Kwara State government achieve some of its long-term goals, such as the Infrafund Kwara.
Within the specific time frame we have, we needed to come up with an ingenuity in creating a funding model, and that gave rise to an infrastructure development fund. We saw that fund as a need to be put in place to create development for Kwara State on a sustainable basis for the next 15, 20, 30 years. And that has pushed us into really looking at what are the financial gaps that we're looking at in Kwara State. We did a review, a data review of what the gaps are. And we came out with a deficit of close to about 250 billion to move Kwara State to the desired level that would see Kwara State truly positioned among committee of well-positioned states, not only in West Africa, but of course in the world. Now, getting to do a drive for a 250 billion naira infrastructure looks a bit Herculean. So we sought to create modules out of it. And these modules required funding. Having looked at all the various funding models, we now looked at the possibility of creating an infrastructure development fund. Now, this fund, as it is a model that allows us to put some seed money, which we had put aside for a while, of course largely for capital development programs, into a basket. And this basket will be managed by by a financial trustee. And of course, we created an irrevocable standing payment order from our internally generated revenue.
Right from the inception of the government trying to put up the medium-term strategic plan, the government had actually looked at the infrastructural gap in the state, what needs to be done, both social infrastructure and economic infrastructure, and how to source for fund for those infrastructure. One major source that is very crucial is internal revenue. That even if you are going to borrow money, the people that are going to give you money want to see how much of your money you are putting into it in terms of equity. So the only way you can be sure you get that is through your IGR. So it was a total plan of government to make sure that government deliver on its promises. So the revenue transformation was the first phase, and the second phase was the infrastructure fund, which government eventually launched in September. And that infrastructure fund, the IGR process is linked to it, because the government came up with a model where certain portion, specifically 500 million out of our collection on a monthly basis, is channeled into that infrastructure fund model to fund the development of infrastructure in the state. So that's a very novel step taken by the Kwara State government, and that gave and sealed the fears of people, gave assurances that, look, this money that is being collected will actually be used to develop the state.
There is absolutely no doubt that the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service did exceptionally well in the year 2016, and the several awards they won are only a testament to the fact.
Government has been involved and helpful all through. Like I said at the very beginning, it provided us with all that we needed, infrastructure. This revenue house was constructed purposefully to change the face of revenue mobilization in Kwara. This is just the phase 1, the phase 2 is under construction. We're giving adequate equipment to work with, motor vehicles, all that we needed were provided by government, and government gave us good backing to ensure that the transformation succeeds. And I can say that the revenue mobilization transformation in Kwara State has not only just succeeded but has become a reference point in Nigeria.
It's really challenging working here, but at the same time it's also fun. You get to learn a lot of things. Like, this is a very good environment for growth.
The experience has been wholesome. If you have anything to learn.
In KW-IRS, we are one big family.
You see people with commitment and vigor to work.
People from diverse community and the background, we come here, we become one. I love working with KW-IRS.
I love working in KW-IRS.
All my life I've worked in a civil service environment, and I'm now in a performance-driven environment, which is quite a change from what I used to be. And for me to be able to really stay by the rules and regulation of a quasi, let me use that word, private sector, is a most fulfilling part of my own life.
I and Ajay Abubakar, at the request of the chairman, were invited to the Joint Tax Board in Abeokuta as observers. And the chairman introduced me to the chairman of Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, that this is our director of informal sector. And immediately he said that, I held his hand, and the chairman said, this is the chairman of Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. I withdrew my hand, and both of them started laughing. And the chairman said, this is the man I've been looking for. We want to come and understudy you people. We want to come and know what you people are doing with the informal sector. It was as if I had a lot in my bank account.
Most memorable. Our earliest days. We will stay in the office till 11:30 p.m. and then developed this attitude. The day you are holding meetings with the chairman till late in the evening, the moment he orders for your dinner, know you are in trouble. The moment Dr. Awodun orders, They have not even given you anything. Though you are in trouble that day, you don't have a closing time. So you should beware eating dinner from Dr. Odun. It means you won't close that day. The moment he offers you dinner, please think twice before you accept it. You won't even have a choice anyway.
The visit to the schools touched my heart so much. And each time I look at those children and the smiles on their faces when we hang the bag, I'm almost weeping. It has, I must mention that it has affected me personally, and I've started my own foundation. This year is going to be launched later in the year. And apart from kitting the students, our experience at the Babuko market also affected me so much. The one that interests me most is the going around the local government, particularly Kwara North. That was so hectic. We have to sit on the floor in some of those places. But it was fun meeting with these people. And then meeting with the society, we realized that people are not bad.
The most memorable moment, like you would agree with me that all dreams that doesn't become fruitful is a waste. So it is a day of commissioning, the day that we moved in here, that we actualized the establishment of KW-IRS. Attendant to that was the IT system that was supposed to be used to collect and to not only collect taxpayers' data, but also to process payments in the banks and do the reporting and all of that. So that was my most memorable moment.
Almost everybody is concerned about the informal sector. When I got in, and in October, we made a substantial leap from what has been the case from March. The figures of October was one of my pride in 2016.
Every moment is memorable. Every moment, every day, you look forward to coming to the office. I see the smiles on people's faces, and then you see the zeal to work, the determination to carry on, the transformation that is coming into the state as a result of what is happening at the Revenue House.
In all, it can be said of the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service that in 2016, they pleaded, they enforced, and they certainly delivered on their promise to not only generate revenue, but also to strategically develop the state. And with so much done in such a short time, we are excited as we look at the beautifully unfolding future of Kwara State.